What's up, everybody? My name is Cap and welcome back to my office, bringing you another vlog. I wanted to discuss a concept with you that affects everyone really, but it seems more so when you're younger, and that's the concept of fitting in. And my message to you guys about that is, you do you, but realize that not everyone's going to like you for it. Now, I know some people out there might think, what does this old man know about fitting in? He's ancient. He has no idea what it's like to be a teenager these days. And you're right, I don't. Times are different. It is not the same kind of scenario these days for teenagers as it was when I was a teenager. I don't even try to imagine what it's like for you guys. But social issues you go through and the things you have to deal with on a regular basis, those don't really change. They just kind of progress as you age. And I had to go through the same things that you guys had to go through as far as like social pressure and stuff. I mean, it's human evolution and it's basic biology to want to fit in and to be liked. Nobody wants to be hated, despite how tough you might act. Nobody wants to be hated. Peer pressure, biological needs, social status, all that kind of thing. It affects everyone, regardless if you're, a younger person or an older person. Some people handle it better than others. But something you have to come to terms with is that not everybody's going to like you. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. Not everybody's going to like you. And it's something I'm trying to teach my son, Brett. He's 6.5 now, finishing up kindergarten. I'm trying to teach him that concept. That he's going to come across people that just don't like him. And I'm trying to tell him, you will find people that don't like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you did to make them not like you, and there's nothing you can do to make them like you. And there's really no reason for it. But it's something that he's already kind of seen a couple times where somebody won't like him because they're not friends. And at his age, when they don't like each other, it's more or less just because, him and his friends have different interests. Or, kids their age, they change what they're interested in really often, like every other week. And so this week he's interested in zombies. So all these kids that are interested in zombies are his friends and they all play together. But then when he moves on, doesn't like zombies and he's into snakes, these people don't really like snakes anymore, so now they're not his friend. That's how it changes for kindergartners. As you get older, your interests change a lot less, and you get, grouped into niches, and so you find people that don't like you just for whatever reason, and nothing you can do is going to change that. It's not a fault of your own, and this is where a lot of people end up with problems, is trying to get people to like you that otherwise don't. And, don't get me wrong, trying to fit in to fit into groups or to be liked by some people, there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. Go for it. But don't change who you are, and don't sacrifice your personal convictions hoping they'll like you. Because getting somebody to like you on false pretenses, it's going to end up in failure. You're not going to like yourself, and that's where it becomes really a problem. If somebody doesn't like you, and they've made it abundantly clear that they just don't like you for whatever reason, just go about your business and don't even think about them. And that's something I've got little man doing before. He's mentioned to me a couple times this year. He's like, so-and-so that I was friends with, they tell me that they're not my friend anymore. So I told them, okay, well, I'm not your friend anymore. And then I went and played, and he got over it. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Now, if he can maintain that as he gets older and emotions start kicking in and all that other stuff, that would be wonderful. So my message to you is, you do you. Do the things in life that make you happy. I guarantee that no matter what it is that you like to do, there are other people with similar interests. And these days with the internet, it's way easier to find people that like the same kind of things you did. When I was younger, I didn't have the internet, so when I liked the odd things, I had to actually go to locations to meet with similar people to do that there. But now on the internet, you can get a large group of people together on one call or one game or something and play together. Or, there's message boards and groups you can join. And, the sky's the limit basically for finding people to like the kind of stuff that you do. Don't do things hoping people accept you after you do them. Don't say, I really want the football guys to like me, so I'm going to go play football even though I don't want to because I really want them to like me. Do it because you want to. And just know that some people's going to look down at you regardless. It's just going to happen. Don't let those people be the ones that dictate how you feel about yourself. There's always going to be people who look down on you for doing something you want to do. It sucks. It really does. But it really doesn't change as you get older. It's a little bit less because you keep your circles a little bit smaller when you're older. But it really doesn't change much. And, just to kind of give you an example, growing up, it was tough for me, as it is for a lot of people. I'm not, an exception or special or anything. I was bullied and picked on for a big chunk of my life for a bunch of reasons. And I mean, for starters, I was the only redhead in the entire elementary school I went to. From kindergarten through 5th grade, there was not another redhead in the entire school. I'm it. And, you know, back then they didn't call us gingers. That really wasn't an insult anybody used. It was called copper top and carrot top and redhead and probably a bunch of others that I forgot since now and stuff. So, I mean, that was kind of I was an obvious target just right there. My dad left us, my brother, my mom, and me, and he just dropped us off the doorstep and, you know, the whole deadbeat dad thing when I was 4. And so I got made fun of for that, for all my peers, I guess you call them, that, you know, had a fully functioning family. They didn't have that, and so they're just like, oh, yeah, you must be a bad person if your dad doesn't live enough to stick around. I mean, that's some mean stuff we heard. And we were quite poor when I was younger. Now, I didn't know it at the time. I mean, this is something I kind of learned and I could see back in retrospect as I got older, because my mom rocked and she was awesome. I never knew that we were struggling. I never went hungry. I had a roof over my head. I had clothes, had food, and I knew somebody was at home that loved me no matter what was going on. So we were poor, but I didn't know it. I never felt like I was doing without. But by being poor, what that means is I didn't go to school wearing designer clothes or the most popular shoe, or when things like, I'm going to show my age here, things like Trapper Keepers and 5-star notebooks and slap bracelets and stuff came out. I didn't have those all the time. You know, some people in my class I call friends. Let me rephrase that. My peers in class would come together and they got them a 5-star, you know, zip-up binder for every single one of their classes, and I had one, maybe, if I got lucky that year. Slap bracelets came out. I got so excited when I got my first slap bracelet. And then I go to school and I'm like, yeah, check this out. And some of my friends in class be like, oh, yeah, check it out. I got 8 new ones this weekend. I'm like, well, I didn't really know that. So when you go to school dressed slightly different than what is the normal for your group there, you obviously stand out. Nowadays, fortunately for you guys, that's one thing I have to say about teenagers is that you all dress crazy, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. You all have your own styles, and it's like everything is a style. So it's like everybody just dresses however they want to, and nobody really says anything about it unless you just go, you know, balls to the walls crazy with it. But you can really express how you want to now, and nobody cares. You know, something else, my name is Andy. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but apparently in the 80s and 90s, it was kind of an odd name, so I got made fun of for that. My last name, which I'm not telling you, is very easy to make fun of, and trust me, every possible derivative of what you could do to make fun of that name, I heard it from the time I started school until probably not that long ago. It just happens. Something else is, I'm a nerd. Always have been, always will be. And as an adult, knowing I'm a nerd, love it. Don't care at all. I grew up playing games like Magic the Gathering, which I still do. See, I mean, look, I still have a box of cards I keep with me, you know, in case I decide to go over to my brother's house or friend's house and play. I played the card games and the board games you'd find in there, like Dungeons and Dragons and Battletech, and I played, you know, a bunch of different kinds of games like that. And that was, you know, especially back then, that was like a really small niche group of people that played those super nerd games. And so we'd go to comic book stores where the other fellow nerds were, and we'd play amongst those. But I didn't very often take that kind of stuff to school. Barely even talked about it because, well, nobody else did. But I did it because I wanted to. And I knew when people found out if I played Magic the Gathering. There's probably some people watching this now and be like, you're 33 and you play Magic the Gathering? You damn right I do, and I still like it. It's a fun game. I've been playing since 1992, 1994, somewhere around there, one of those two. So a long, long, long time. But I didn't bring it to school with me because I knew I'd be made fun of, but I didn't really care. I talked to the people who played the games with me and stuff. I made straight A's almost all of my life in school, so I was the smart kid, you know, the ones that struggled in class would make fun of me and pick on me and bully me and stuff because it came easy to me. So I got put in the honors classes, which doesn't help when you already get picked on. You're like, oh, wow, he's so smart, he's got to go to a special class. I mean, those kinds of things. When I got in high school, I competed in academic decathlon, which is basically take a group of nerds, ship them off to a competition, and see if this group of nerds is smarter than that group of nerds. And we won. We won quite often. It was awesome. I was in the German club. I took college-level classes in high school because I knew, hey, this will save me a lot of money and time if I can get there. I grew up playing video games, and now it's, you know, hell, everybody plays video games. But back then, it was like kids only. Teenagers didn't really care about video games, maybe the occasion one. Adults definitely didn't. Now everybody plays them, but back then, If you were going to talk to people about video games at school, it was a small group of people once again there. I mean, I'm known on YouTube for playing Minecraft. I mean, I started playing that before it was popular, helped make it popular, and now people like to go, oh, you play a kid's game, you have no opinion on there. I'm like, Minecraft is not a kid's game. And you know what? I still play it because I like it. I don't care if people want to make fun of me for it. Read the comment sections in any of my big popular videos, and I've got all kinds of insults and stuff in there. Screw them. I play what I want. I work with computers for a living. I like doing programming. I'm a nerd. I don't try to hide it. And neither should you. Let your nerd flag fly proudly. Don't let anyone ever tell you that being smart is a bad thing. Being smart is awesome, and no matter what anybody tells you negatively, like, oh, you're just a brainiac or blah, 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 yes, be that brainiac. Because once you get past that level of school, when people stop caring about your social status and you get to be an adult or whatever, the brainiacs are the one who are going to rule the world. We always have, we are always going to, just the way it is. So join us, will you? But on top of being, the nerd, I also loved playing sports. From the time I could, kindergarten on, I played sports. And it's because of that competitive nature in me there. I was average height and average weight. I was just the middle of the road kind of guy, so I wasn't intimidating, but I wasn't the runt in the class. But being as I wasn't one of the cool kids, that didn't fit in with everybody else there, I had a lot of instances where teammates and sometimes even coaches would do things to try and make me quit playing. Now, I don't know if, where you are, if you still do that. They had something called Kids Incorporated from like kindergarten until 7th grade, I think, where basically paid an amount, you joined in, everybody got to play. They couldn't exclude you. They couldn't say, no, you can't play. It was like everybody played. We did keep scoring. We had winners and losers. We had some really good teams off and on different sports, but so I was required to let to play. But that doesn't mean the coaches wanted me there, or some of the teammates wanted me there, and they would do things to try and force me to quit. And even once I got past like 8th grade and into high school, continue playing sports because I wanted to, there was plenty of people that tried to do things to make me quit. I had instances where I had my basketball shoes stolen out of my locker. Somebody got into the coach's office, got the combination to my school-issued lock, stole my basketball shoes. And as I mentioned before, we were poor. It took my mom a long time to save up enough money to buy me a decent pair of basketball shoes. And they stole them out of my locker. I was heartbroken. So what I did, I kept my regular old tennis shoes that I wore day in and day out, and that's what I played in for a good while until we could afford some new shoes. Didn't let that stop me. More than once in football, I practiced wearing completely wet gear because, well, they thought maybe I wouldn't have the gall to suit up if they poured bottles of water in my locker and soaked everything. Well, I did anyway because I'm not going to let them stop me and tell me I can't play because I wanted to. I had my athletic cup, your supporting cup protects the goods. Somebody stole the cup part of it there, so I had to play without it. Well, like I said, couldn't go afford to buy a new one right away. They're not super cheap, but they're not really expensive, so I practiced quite a bit without it, and, well, there was instances people intentionally tried to go for that, I'll say it that way. I was blindsided by some teammates and stuff that hit me from behind in pads and stuff to knock me down, and you can get hurt pretty bad doing that. I mean, they could have, really messed me up pretty bad. I had people sabotaging my practice. We'd be doing individual drills, doing tackling drills, and where they're supposed to, hold the tackling dummy because I played linebacker. So doing tackling drills was there, and they would move the tackling dummy. So when I would go on doing tackling drills and stuff, I would completely miss, or I'd hit the ground, or they would hit me with it, and so it would jar my neck. I mean, all kinds of stuff like that. But I kept on. And it's not because I wanted them to like me. It's because I wanted to play. I worked my butt off. I hit the gym. I practiced at home. I did everything I could. And you know what? I played. And I was a starter every time. In football, I was a starting lineman, which, if you know what I look like at all, I'm not built to be a lineman. But in football, for a good long time, I was the strongest and the most powerful kid on the team. So I was put on playing guard. And I got to play linebacker, and I loved tackling people. I wasn't the biggest kid, but I could hit like a train. Playing basketball, I was starting shooting guard from the time I played until the time I graduated high school, all the way up through varsity. Loved it. Playing baseball, played shortstop. I didn't like it, so I didn't play for very long, but I did. When I was in track, I went to city in high jump, discus throwing, and hurdles. And again, normal average body width white kid. This boy could jump back in the day, and I could hurl a disc, man. And anyway, through all of that, through playing there, eventually, some of the people that gave me grief over the years left me alone. And some of them actually started respecting me, started almost treating me as an equal. We'd be in the gym working out, and I'd be cranking out, some heavy reps, doing whatever I was doing at the time, and people come over like, man, well, you're starting to bulk up pretty nicely, good job, way to go, sort of thing, or hey, a good shot, it was like I earned their respect. I didn't care that they respected me. It definitely made it a lot easier, but I was doing it for me, not for them. And I'm only telling you all of this to show you that your struggles and everything, that you're not alone, and that even with people picking on you and making fun of you or treating you badly or whatever, you can still enjoy the stuff you want to do, and just know that you may have some strife and some grief along the way. And, the real friends I had growing up that I played Magic the Gathering with, and Dungeons and Dragons and video games, and the people in sports that were there for me and treated me as a normal equal, whatever, I'm still friends with them 20 plus years later. I consider them family now. And it's great. It's a wonderful thing to have. But don't base your self-worth on how many people like you. It's better to have 2 or 3 really close friends and having a good interest that you share between all of you than to try and please everybody and have no friends. Do the things that make you happy, ignore the people that talk down to you, and just know that whatever struggles you're going through, you're not alone. There are plenty of people going through their own battles that you may or may not even know about. Just know that you will get to a point where you're going to be alright. All in all, you do you. Do the things that make you happy. Block out the hate that's around you for doing said things. Know that not everybody's going to like you, but that's okay. It's quite alright. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave me some comments below if you enjoyed them. You guys take it easy, and I will catch you later.